See, if you're like me, it probably took you 6 to 12 months to find the right product market fit, to find the service that is in demand and that people are willing to pay for. That's one. The second problem is it probably took me over a year to find a predictable client acquisition system. But even when I did find it, I wasn't able to really scale the client acquisition channel that I was leveraging. Back then I was using cold outreach, using Facebook groups, so it wasn't really scalable as other channels. I went from quitting my job in June of 2020 to making my first $30,000 a month in maybe March or May of 2021. So that's a kind of like a good case study. But in the case of Damien and Dorian, who's the client interview that I'm bringing you guys today, they went from nothing to their first $30,000 a month in 60 days. No experience around running growth companies. And in this interview, you guys are going to get to see how we helped them pivot from what they wanted to sell at first. They wanted to sell some AI systems or some SEO at first, which were like, hey, what's going on? Okay. We changed them to actually bridging the whole gap with this idea of building and releasing a growth infrastructure that actually solves the gap from the lead gen all the way to qualified appointments, showing up and buying for the HVAC niche. That changed everything for them because they went from not knowing how to sell, not knowing how much to sell it for, their SEO services, to charging $8,000 for their first client, which is life-changing. For me, my first clients were paying me $700. So if I could have figured out a way to charge $8,000 up front, it would have changed everything for me. But the second thing that we did is we launched paid ads as a client acquisition channel for them, and it changed everything. As you guys will hear, the predictability and the volume of calls that they were getting and at the cost was insane. It was crazy not to have launched paid ads earlier. So that's why I'm saying that I would have loved seeing this and seeing other people scale to 30K per month in 60 days, because I would have saved me a year of living the life. Okay. But hope you guys enjoyed this interview. See you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Don't focus on just spending more money on ads all the time.
So we started targeting the HVAC, and then once we joined you guys, we came in, we're like, you guys can give us a whole new offer, a whole new person to target. We're like, just give us something that works.
It's just that you need more leveraged way to re-engage the list that you guys have already created and give them angles that resonate with them better and get them to buy.
He laughed at us, and then he looked at our sales rep, and he's like, dude, you're the age of my son. I'll never buy from you. You don't know anything.
All right. So the recording, I think, is live now. Today, I have Damien, Dorian. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves? Where you guys are from? All that good stuff.
Yeah, sure. I mean, well, I guess I speak for a little bit of both of us. We're from Toronto, Canada. I'd say like 30 minutes up in the suburbs. We've been in the agency space for, I'd probably say, about a year now. Started a few businesses before ultimately this one. This year, obviously this business has been the one that's kicked off. And so I'd say we're pretty new, considering like a year isn't that much at all. Especially now that we've like joined your program and kind of now in the agency space and kind of seeing a lot of other things that we never saw like a year or two ago.
Yeah.
So I think we've grown a lot, like considering where we started.
You guys want to kind of like explain what you guys are currently selling, offering, and scaling?
Sure. Yeah, so I'll just jump a little bit of background about myself. So we started the HVAC growth firm, essentially what we are, helping the HVAC contractors. And I'll give you a little bit of background, like why we chose them, why we're targeting them. I have a background myself as in the field, technician, been an estimator, so kind of got their whole sales process, really understand their struggles, which is why we're kind of tackling those guys. But that's kind of again just a quick little background of why we chose what we chose.
How did you guys meet? Were you guys friends?
Yeah, we've
started the businesses.
We've been friends since way back in high school.
Like 8 years probably now.
Wow,
It's been a while.
Sick. And how old are you guys?
23.
Yeah, both 23.
Both 23?
Yeah.
Okay, sick. Love it. Now, a year ago, you guys kind of like started. How long has it been that we've been working together?
Now like 6 months. We joined like roughly the beginning of the year.
Okay, cool. Now walk me through what you guys were doing before you got, like, what was the offer? What was the idea? Like, walk me through a year ago. What did you guys start?
So I'd say probably a year ago, like around like this time last year, we kind of went like the AI route with like AI chatbots, like nothing like conversational. I think back then we had no info on that kind of stuff. Did that for a little bit, and then we ended up kind of moving into SMMA. So we had started a business targeting like sports clinics, and then what we really started to do was just SEO. Now SEO kind of like for like anyone. We weren't very niche specific.
How did you find me?
Yeah, so I was looking into like Iman Gacci's program, and I was kind of looking at like reviews on it, and
Yeah.
one review like mentioned your program, and I at that point I had never heard of you.
Yeah.
So I looked it up, looked it up on Google, found your Instagram, and then just later on kind of got reached out to, I guess, by someone who was controlling Instagram at the time.
Yeah.
And at that point, we were really just looking for appointments. It was at this
Mhm.
time we were kind of looking into other, like we had a few other calls. I think we were on a calls with Chinister's team and maybe like a
Yeah.
few other small agencies just about appointments. Like we just wanted more appointments.
Yeah.
And it's pretty funny because when we like pretty much just about locked in your program, we were still under the impression like these guys are going to help us with our appointments and not entirely kind of change our offer, which is
Yeah.
like we knew that was part of it. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm curious on, I want appointments, but if they do something about the offer, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then the offer thing is what completely changed what we do now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What was the review on Google? Was it a bad review? Because I don't keep up with my
I
reviews.
mean, no, it was. I can't remember if it was a good review or bad, but if it was a bad one, I'm sure I
Yeah.
wouldn't have bothered. So
Yeah. So you guys come in, you guys are selling SEO to a little bit of anyone, and you guys. So how did you guys end up in the? Because I love to understand how people are getting into the space, right? So
Yeah.
the chatbot, who sold you guys on the starting a business where you were implementing chatbot?
we found Liam Oatley's YouTube channel. He was like one of
Ah,
the bigger guys on AI. So we
yeah,
had joined his like community for like a couple $100 a month. We joined his
yeah,
community and kind of did that. But it's funny too. Like we had like a handful of businesses beforehand, but
mhm,
never kind of went all in, if that makes sense. Like we had
yeah,
never run ads. We at one point we had like 7 cold callers going out. Like we were in the world of like doing everything but paid acquisition.
yeah,
Then right after we joined with you and started doing paid acquisition, we're like, what the hell were we doing before?
yeah.
Like it complete waste of time. It's crazy.
Yeah, I
But
know, I know. So then walk us through. So walk me through what the team did, because I don't think I wasn't involved in the kind of like the pivot that you guys made. So walk me through the decisions, and we'll go into paid ads and the success that you guys have seen. But walk me through the mindset of and the impact of like changing and being like, what did the team tell you guys to pivot to HVAC? Like, what was that discussion, conversation?
Yeah, so before we even like joined and started working with you guys, we were already transitioning over. It's like, what do we
Okay.
know? Like, what are we good at? What do we have experience with? Now, obviously, again, bringing it back to, Damien has like the digital marketing aspect. He used to like create websites and stuff, and then I had the experience, in the field. So I was like, okay, let's put them
Yep.
both together. Let's start to do something that makes sense, rather than target these guys. Like for example, we were targeting pool people, like pool companies, and we're like, we
Mhm.
don't know anything about this, right?
Yep.
So we started targeting the HVAC, and then once we joined you guys, we came in. We're like, you guys can give us a whole new offer, a whole new person to target. We're like, just give us something that works.
Yeah.
So you guys, I think we were speaking with Hassam. He's like, guys, you guys are in like the perfect niche. Just keep going where you're at,
Mhm.
and then we'll just switch it around. So we went from like the whole SEO, which again, Hassam, Issa, they kind of helped us with like building that out. But we went from the whole SEO. We just pretty much scrapped that and just went straight to paid ads, right? Obviously, with the training and stuff, we learned pretty quickly how to operate because, again, from the start, as Daniel mentioned, we didn't know anything about paid ads, right?
Yeah.
So we came in blind in a sense with paid ads and like that kind of marketing, and just went like straight into it, and then offered, the
Okay.
marketing advertising to these guys.
Okay. Sick. Okay. Beautiful. And walk me through the. I know you kind of probably took like a little bit of time to kind of like dial it in and actually start selling, but I know that a few months ago you jumped on a call with me and you guys kind of like let me know that you guys had jumped on a call. I think it was you who said that you had even jumped on a call with a company in solar that was doing crazy revenue, and that laughed at you when you said that the cost was 12 grand.
Yeah, so it was an HVAC
HVAC? Okay.
HVAC. It was an HVAC company. He was out in San Francisco. So he's in the States. It's funny, we look back actually today, we were just starting to look back at our pitches, just seeing how we progressed over time, like with the sales and whatnot. We look back at it and we are saying today, it's like I would laugh at it too. But basically, we told him like the price was 12 grand for the first 4 months, and he tried to correct us like 12 grand for or 8 grand. I forget what it was. He's like, so 12 grand per month? We're like, no, for 4 months. And then he just literally he looked first. It was bad because he laughed at us, and then he looked at our sales rep and he's like, dude, you're the age of my son. I'll never buy from you. You don't know anything. Right. So it was like a wow, wake up kind of like that
Yeah.
kind of moment. It's like, okay, there's guys, there's sharks out there that you have to change the game. You have to do something differently to catch these
Yeah.
guys' attention.
And do you want to kind of like share the offer that the guy pitched to you guys to work with him on? Like, because I remember he pitched you guys something crazy,
Yeah.
like I'll give you guys 30K if you whatever. Like, do you guys want to kind of like share that story? Because that was an interesting story.
Yes, so yeah, we pitched him I think it was 8 or 12K, whatever it was for the first
We
4
pitched them 8.
Yeah. So yeah, 8K for the first 4 months, and then he came back and he's like, I'll give you 8 grand in ad spend per month. I believe it was 8 grand, or I'll give you
I don't think it was ad spend.
Yeah.
He had thought we asked him for 8 grand each month
Yeah,
and laughed at that.
yeah. And then plus the ad spend.
Wow.
So he laughed at that. He mentioned like, oh, like that's peanuts to me. He didn't believe that we'd get him to where he wants to get for only
Yeah.
8 grand a month.
Yeah. It is insane. And did he share with you guys like what he were expecting as a fee, or like something that would make you guys seem more legit?
He came back at us with a guarantee on a certain ROI.
Okay.
So
Yes, yeah, so it was guaranteed that we'd make him 30. It was something crazy, 32x every single month, with his ad spend, and then if we don't within the first 4 months, whatever it is, we continue to work with him, right? So he's just again, it's one of those guys like it's like a wake up call. It's like I'll make my deal and you're gonna follow through with it. If not, we're not working.
And what have you learned since when selling to HVAC companies? Like, do you guys feel like have you guys felt like the approach to, because there, not every company, his was probably making probably over 8 figures a year, right? So like, how have you guys pivoted your sales pitch from the guys that are doing, $1 million a month more to those who are doing maybe 100K or less a month or in between?
Yeah, well, I mean, it comes down to before we just kind of had something that would work for everyone. It's like here's our one package fits all.
Yeah.
Now it's like, okay, if I'm talking to a guy and he's making $1 million a month, 2 million plus, it's obviously a whole different approach, right? We're not going to so much emotional. It's like, dude, you're successful. What more? Like, where do you want to be, right? Whereas these guys, for example, they're starting off, they're making 50,000 a month. It's like, you started off, you have a good, you got some momentum, things are working, but you can't grow just by doing what you're doing, right? Because a lot of them are based off referrals. They're just kind of relying on other people to sell their business. Whereas the guys that we speak to and they're already doing numbers, they already have all the advertising. They've done the marketing. They've done it for years, right?
Yeah.
So now it's like when we're talking to someone who's new, it's more of an emotional, not I was gonna say emotional state, but emotions to whereas, you're doing well, but you're nowhere near the guys that we work with, right?
Yeah.
And how you're going to get there is by doing this, this, and this, and they give them that, that process. Whereas the guys, again, that are much, much bigger, it's not emotional. These guys, they're already doing the numbers. They're okay if they continue where they're going. It's just it's like, if you continue to do what you're doing, are you going to be able to grow to where you want to be? Or are you going to be able to hire on, 12 more techs, 10 more techs for next year, whatever it may be, and be able to sustain those guys, right? Because if you continue to grow and you have the right, the right people in place, you're going to sink the company at some point. Whether it's, in the next 5 years, 10 years, you got to have something that's able to sustain all the business coming in.
Yeah. So walk me through kind of like you guys. So we built this new offer, kind of like helping them with, just growth in general, not just specific, just service. Then we launched ads. Walk me through the numbers of how you guys grew. Like, what were like actual numbers, cost per lead, appointments, like from the moment you guys started ads, we helped you guys launch ads, like what happened from that moment on?
Yeah, so I don't know, with us, we came into the program knowing like, we got a head on top of our neck is how we always say it. So we knew like we're going to have success. It's a matter of, how quickly it's going to come.
Yeah.
With us though, we launched ads again, as I mentioned before, we never ran ads. Like it was just our first time we were grinding. I was every single day in and out is just learning ads, learning how the operations work. I think we started in February, February, March,
I've got the numbers here. I wrote them all in the beginning of the year.
April. I think we hit 30,000, which is just bizarre because we came into your program like, okay, we'll sell a package for $1,000 or $500 a month, and we'll hit that 10K. And it's like we crushed the 10K. We're like, okay, that's nothing, right? But yeah, our cost, like even our cost per lead, for example, we were doing really good in the beginning. I think it was like
We were roughly $10.
yeah, sub 10. But we ran into an issue really early on where we were getting a lot of not contractors, a lot of technicians. Right? So people like thinking, hey, you got a job for us? Like you can help us get a job? We're like, what's going on here? So really quickly we had to kind of revamp things, reposition stuff. That way we were talking to the right people. But once we start talking to the right people, it's like, I don't know, we're a little bit opposite than everyone else. They have issues with the ads, they have issue with the sales, they get the ads running. Whereas us, it's like, okay, we got to learn the ads, but we can sell. We know we can sell.
Yeah.
Right?
But walk me through the numbers. So walk me through the growth of your business, right? So you guys jumped in February, then hit 30K in April. But like, walk me through, and I want to know like the ups and downs because that's important, because I think that's where the iterations that you guys went through made you guys who you are today. So
I think Damien's got them all. Damien's got the dates and all.
Damien, tap in.
I got everything.
Yes. The sauce.
Well, I guess I kept all this from the very beginning. That's why I had this stupid thing here. But we started February 9th. It was like the day of launch. I think me and Dorian were still in Colombia at the time. We took a nice trip.
How was Colombia?
It's great.
It's crazy.
Did I go?
I fell in love with it. I'll go back in a heartbeat.
Sick.
But yeah, so with that, I think we started running ads. Like that's the one thing I don't have here is when we started running ads. But I think we started running ads within a week is when we started running ads.
Yep.
And we had our first
starting to work with us.
Yes, it was probably like a week or two. It wasn't like we started ads that month.
So that was fast. So how was it? Because let's say it was a week and a half or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Did you guys already? Because one of the things we do for clients is that we'll kind of like launch things, but since you guys had no concept to ads, how did you guys like manage? So let's say, did we kind of like set up the ads? And because I don't remember.
No. So I say we, but it was Dorian doing a lot of the ads in the beginning. But I guess we hopped on calls with Casey and the group calls there, and he showed us like how to do our like static ads. So we started off with static ads.
Sick.
Probably we did static ads for probably the majority of the year, like at least 3-4 months. Yeah. With that though, we started GCP the February 9th, and by February 28th we had our first like sales call as an example.
Okay.
So pretty quickly, and then pretty much soon after that we had our first close March 10th. So going from like February, March, in like a month we signed an $8,000 deal, and we had never sold anything like that before.
Okay, love it. And what did you guys? What was the deal? Was it a 4-month kind of like?
Yeah,
build?
it was 4 months, $8,000. This was a payment plan, so it wasn't a pay in full. But yeah, and at this point we did have a closer. It wasn't Dorian. Now obviously Dorian closes all the deals for us, and then pretty much after that, like 4 days later, signed a $10,000 deal. And then that one we had like a month later, and then sold another one for 8. So like we had, I mean, fast success. We went from, in Colombia selling maybe $1,000 like packages to all of a sudden like pitching $8,000, which is kind of like, back then it was nuts in my eyes. But
yeah, of course, it was legendary. My first deal was a 4.3K paid in full for 3 months. That was my first client. When I got that money, I was like, holy shit. Because
it's a feeling.
It's a feeling, man. That first like higher ticket deal client that you close, because it changes the game, man. It changed because you guys literally, it's from idea to money, and that is one of the greatest feeling that any person who's trying to like maybe be more financially free. Like as soon as you experience having a plan, a goal, and put together a system, and then get that system to give you outcomes and make money,
I don't think people realize how
Holy shit.
quickly you can take that idea to make money, right? Like us, for example,
Yeah.
we had in the beginning, we had that small minds, like, yeah, we can sell $1,000 package, and it's like, that's amazing. And we come in here, and it's like we were moving at like 100x the speed that we usually would when we
Yeah.
join your guys' course. And from there, all of a sudden, you know, a month later, we're selling 10x than what we usually would in just
Yeah.
one sale, right?
100%.
Yeah.
When you already have the kind of like the right infrastructure, it's just a matter of putting the things together, right? It's not a guessing game. It's not like, how do we feel today? What should you do today? No, we know what you need to do today, every day, every hour of the day. So that's good. So walk me through now. So you guys scaled to 30K a month in April. Then what happened then?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Obstacles.
just
What
if you want to talk about the ad roller coaster,
yeah,
Yeah.
please.
go for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So, obviously, really quickly, we hit 30K a month. I say myself, I think it's like that, you know, you feel like you're on top of the world, like, holy shit, I never made this much money, and now all of a sudden I have it. So I think, I mean, I'm not going to speak for both of us, but myself is like, okay, I can slow down for a second here, right? Which again was like the worst thing I possibly pretty much could have done, because like 30K is nothing, right?
Yeah.
30K is just 30K now. But we got into this thing where it's like our ads were working and our ads weren't working, and then our ads would work again. We went through this huge roller coaster of, you know, let's say there's a good week, a solid week, we're getting $10 lead cost. We were having, you know, times where we have like 120 leads per month coming in, and all of a sudden it would just stop, right? Our lead costs would spike. We wouldn't be getting any leads. And then it turned into, you know, the 30K month. It would just be for 1 week, right? We'd make like 10 grand in 1 week, and then sales would stop. Like 3-4 weeks, we would, you know, everything, operations kind of slowed down, which has kind of been like the hiccup we've had to overcome. So we got pretty much over that, and our whole idea of, you know, okay, we're running static ads, we need to do something with the ads. Maybe it's just the creatives are getting, you know, outdated, whatever it may be. That's when we started doing the video ads, trying to take a whole different approach. With the video ads, we saw really quickly a lot of success, right?
Okay.
And reason being is, I think it's with the HVAC owners, like specifically, it's like they want to see human interaction. They're very old school, so like just clicking on a picture and going through a funnel, they don't care. Like they rather just see you and talk to you personally, like really direct. So that's like the whole thing we started to move into. If you want to take it from there, but that's kind of been like the roller coaster
Okay.
with ads.
So when you say it improved ads, what do you mean? Do you mean like click-through rate were higher, cost per book call was cheaper? What was, I guess lead costs didn't necessarily get cheaper, right?
No, lead costs actually. So we were seeing like leads at like $10. But again, that's one of the things we had to overcome. Is like, yeah, you're getting a shit ton of leads, but are they good quality, right? Are you actually getting bookings?
Did
So that's when we kind of
did you guys ever get a setter, or did we guys ever place a setter in your company?
Yeah, we've got one.
yeah we got
Now
yeah
you
we had a
have one?
setter. We had a setter from the start.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Um,
It was
yeah,
just like our biggest thing was getting Dorian's calendar full with sales calls.
Yeah.
Like that was the biggest thing. Like you mentioned, you know, in April we did 30 grand like 13 days, just because in those span of 13 days we had quite a few book calls.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we'd go like 3 weeks to 4 weeks
Without-
of with like not without sales calls, but not a whole ton.
Not closing.
And then we wouldn't close anybody. And then
Yeah.
the next month we'd have that week where we got like 13 sales calls, and we make a few sales, and then back to nothing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the thing where we know, like, if we dial that in and have consistent sales calls, like we're just going up, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Love it. Now, have you guys raised prices ever since you guys started closing a few more consistently? What are some of the tweaks that you guys have made?
Yeah, so not that we raised prices. What we do now, so instead of just doing like a paid in full 8,000 for across 4 months, we actually changed it to a 3-month program.
Yep.
Because we were seeing some good results pretty quickly. So what we did instead of charging more is we had the same prices, but instead for every install that we're bringing these guys, because they're doing like $10,000-$15,000 deals every time,
Yeah.
we figured, let's get a piece of that pie, right? If we're getting these guys good results, there's really no sense for them to not want to give us more money, right? So what we did on top of that is for every install, we just take a small percentage of every single, you know, thing that we brought them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love it. I know you guys, let's go back a little bit on the ads, because I remember this. I know we also tried the kind of like the AI conversation voiceover ads. How did those work for you guys?
They worked. I mean, they definitely started giving us higher quality ad or higher quality leads
Okay.
because again, it was I think our first form of video ad that we posted.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
finally, they could consume a little bit more information than rather what was just on the screen,
Yeah.
on the static ad. We ran it maybe we ran it for a few weeks and we closed the guy on it. So that worked.
Sick.
But even too going back on our pricing. Um, in the beginning, like we kind of shifted our pricing a lot to kind of just see like what the market would bite at.
Yeah.
Um, but now I think we've kind of stuck to one price that we're doing now.
Okay, love it. So
Yeah.
the 3 month package, but you also get a piece from every install,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and the 3 months too, it's 3 months of ads. So it's like we'll onboard them for like a week or two, however long it takes for us to kind of ramp everything up, and then the 3 months will start once ads start. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then operationally, you want to walk me through kind of like how your team is structured? Did you guys kind of like onboard a media buyer? Are you guys setting up any systems for these, these companies? Like, walk me through the operations and fulfillment.
For sure. I'll walk through like our side, and then Damien, I think you can talk about
Yeah.
that. Yeah. So with us, again, pretty quickly we onboarded a appointment setter. So again, me and Damien coming in, we knew we had other things to focus on. If we're just focused on appointment setting, we're not going to get anything done. All right. So
Yep.
right away, we onboarded an appointment setter. We have been through a lot. I'm not going to lie. It takes, I don't know, for some reason, it's just hard to find some good talent. But we've now found someone who's like very, very consistent, has the same mindset as us. But as well, alongside that, so I'm more on the sales. I'm taking all the sales calls. Damien is on like the fulfillment side for all of our clients. And then as well, we do have a media buyer that works with us and also all the clients. All right. So
Okay.
it's a small team, but very, kind of compact and organized, right? I don't think we're going to try to grow too big with the team. Obviously, as operations and things scale, yes, we'll look at other guys, but I think with us, it's just to keep the team like close, good, tight bond, and then everyone's in the same mindset, ready to just scale the business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Damien, want to walk me through kind of like the fulfillment? Like, are you guys primarily just coming in and just setting up like a paid acquisition campaign for these companies, or are you guys also thinking of venturing into other bottlenecks that these companies deal with once they have leads and appointments?
Yeah. For where we're sitting right now, the main thing I want to focus on is paid acquisition through Meta. I think once we like really dial it down and it just becomes like I know everyone's gonna get the exact same um, like result and those things. There's other ventures that we want to start leading more into, like what we used to do SEO. Like I think that would be a great one considering we're in the local business
Yeah.
niche. But yeah, so how fulfillment goes is we'll we'll start their meta ads, and then we do have a pretty wicked I guess I don't think automation is a good word, but like a back end system for the leads that we generate.
Yeah.
I guess one thing, I guess like not to harp I guess too much on what we do, but we're not just giving them leads like your traditional marketing company, because a lot of the times again when Dorian hops on a call with someone, that's all they're used to is someone giving them a lead, and then they become a cold calling agency themselves, trying to call up these leads and get them closed. What we do is our back end team, we have a calling system. So when these leads come in, they don't opt in through like just their name and phone number for more information. They're requesting an estimate from our HVAC
Sick.
a client. So then once they request their estimate, we have a dialer where they'll get called by someone on our team to basically confirm that estimate. Hey, like, you're located here, you need this, and you're ready to go like within the next 7 days. And then once it's confirmed, it's then sent to the client. And then we require our clients to call that lead within 5 minutes to confirm that, and then they go. So we're giving them estimates. We're not just
Sick.
again because it's pretty sure.
Yeah. That's where it's like, because for me, I know that like just getting leads, like, yeah, you guys are not going to be like lead gen is not worth anything in this current state of the market, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just so commoditized, and a media
Yeah.
buyer could do it for like $400 a
Yeah.
month.
Oh, easy. I mean, like we get guys that come on and say, "Hey, like, can't you just give me 100 leads?" Like, yeah, I could, but like maybe maybe 5 will pick up. Like, what? There's no
Yeah,
value in 100 leads.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why for me it's like with this whole idea of like bridging the gap, it's like you have to generally bridge the gap, because if you're just another media buying agency that gets people leads and puts people on a calendar, well, no one is going to show up because everybody's distracted from following the people that they actually like.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I love the fact that you guys have introduced kind of like a system to actually dial in, and even the angle.
Yeah.
So I love it. Quick
Well,
question.
one thing I'll touch
Yeah,
upon.
please.
So with us, like as you said, we quickly found out like leads means nothing, right? But as well, I always tell guys like, leads mean nothing if you're not booking them into estimates. If you're not able to book these guys in, walk through their house, and actually diagnose the system, what does that mean to you? It means
Yeah.
nothing. But as well, what we also found is like there's a huge gap between us getting the estimates and them closing the estimates, right? So yes, we get them in these houses, they talk to these homeowners, but it's like they just have conversations. Nothing ever goes anywhere. So I always say, leads are good, but if they're not turning to estimates, they're no good as well. But if the estimates aren't turning to sales, really, what is that whole operation even worth?
Yeah.
It doesn't make anything. So now we're like heavily focused on actually, again, it's like from A to Z, we actually help with the sales. And again, the reason being is because we've noticed, we have a few guys that sales is already good. It's already set in their head. They understand that when you go to an estimate, no one's willing to just give you $10,000 open-handed. Like no one will.
Mm-hmm.
I always tell a guy, when's the last time you've ever asked someone for the highest price? Right? You never have, and you never will. So why should your customers ask you for the highest price? Everyone's going to try to object to you, whatever it may be. So that's what
It's the referral to the cold lead change that they get shocked on.
Yeah. Because again, they're really used to referrals. They go in the house. They already talked to someone who trusts them and did work for them. So they're like, yeah, sure, just take my money. But
So how are you guys planning on solving that conversion, that closing?
Yeah. So we actually we built an entire sales course on when you're getting to the house, what to say. We have all the scripts, questions, stuff like that. So we pretty much hand them all the sales material. But as well, again, given my experience within the industry, what we also do now is they can hop on one-on-one calls, which again, we rather them do that. End of the day, is because if they're growing, if the biggest way to look at it is if they're growing, we're growing as a business.
Yeah.
Right. And that's only because the way we structure that deal.
Makes sense. Have you guys thought of completely changing the way they sell and just making it virtual?
I have, but my whole theory on that is a lot of these homeowners want to have like a connection, but as well, it's kind of hard to sell. And again, I don't know if it's ever been tested or not. It's kind of hard to sell someone on a system that you haven't been able to diagnose, right? So that's one thing we haven't figured out yet, is how can you actually sell someone without diagnosing that system?
So do they have to be, so is there like a physical component that they have to look at when you're selling like these heating ventilation systems?
Well, the majority of the time, these guys, again, yes, they're looking for an estimate, but the whole reason they're looking for an estimate is probably because the system's just down, right? It's either their heating or cooling system's down. They're not getting any heat or the cooling. So they want an expert to come out, take a look at it, right? Now, what we've found is if you pitch the homeowner right away on a new system, they just kind of see it as, oh, you're just looking for the bigger sale. Like you're not actually looking to fix this. You just want to sell me a $10,000 unit.
Yeah.
So it's like that. It brings me back to like the connection, and you have to build some rapport there, actually diagnose the system. And part of our course, part of the system that we built out for these guys is when you diagnose a problem, you're going to take a picture and a video, bring it to the homeowner, and explain the actual, the issues that are going on. Right.
Yeah. So I'll share a quick insight. I think Hormozy made a reel about this. Or it's one of his presentations when he gets people to his workshops in person. But he shared a story of his friend who was running maybe like $1 million a month solar company. And they did this whole thing door-to-door bullshit process, which is annoying as fuck. I don't even know how people do door-to-door and go to bed. It's one of the most painful thing ever. But he objected with his friend is like, why don't you move all sales online.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, well, I don't know, it wouldn't work. And he's like, are you sure? And the founder of that company went
Keyboard
in
cloud, Damien.
um,
Damien,
and actually went in and actually started doing the calls. He started selling himself through Zoom, I believe. And the whole entire organization moved to selling through Zoom, like a business, like the same high ticket services that you sell through door to door. And
Yeah.
I think they like doubled, if not tripled, their monthly revenue. And imagine the amount of efficiency you get from having a sales organization that only has to take Zoom calls. That
Yeah.
is
Well, it cuts
insane.
down all the cost on actually driving out there.
All the bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you literally could run laps around your competition if
Yeah.
so for me, if I was you guys, if you guys can even control the sales component of it, oh my god, you guys can make a lot of money. So
Yeah.
so I would suggest, instead of looking at, there is great founders look at the status quo or the norm and say fuck it. You guys are not going to make millions of dollars a month if you guys keep running through the old system, right? Like as an example, great returns are experienced by the companies that completely change the way that something is being done, right? I'll give you guys an example. If you start another company that shows people how to do door to door, you're going to make money. But are you going to make 10 times more profit than everybody else? No, because you're doing the same thing that everybody else is doing. So everyone is getting the same average outcomes.
Yeah.
But if you can help your clients experience 10 times more efficiency within the same way of experience and outcome, maybe they don't get 50 more clients a month, but they get the same clients, but it costs them 10 times less. Every single person in that industry will want the efficiency. And that's where you get companies like Meta at Facebook making like $200 million a day. Because spending ads on Meta is infinitely better than hiring cold callers, than doing cold email outreach, than doing cold DMs. So now, find me any other company that gets $200 million in cash every day. You won't find many. Not on the planet.
Yep.
So for me, one of the things that I'd love for you guys to kind of like start building is like, just why don't you believe something can be solved in a more efficient way and go build that thing.
Yeah.
Then
Well,
you guys can really
I could see, because again, homeowners have lives. They don't have all the time in the world to sit there and wait for a technician to come out. So
yeah,
I can see both sides of the plate. Obviously, that's like that kind of the gap we got to fill. Figure out something that aligns with both the homeowner and the companies.
100%. But love it. I love it. So now what are your revenue goals before the end of the year?
Before the end of the year, I'd like to hit 100K a month.
Yep.
That's where we're sitting. I know it's extremely doable as long as when we dial in the ads to be as consistent as we can. Our sales has increased through the beginning of the year. I know Dory mentioned like in the beginning we knew like the sales that we kind of had that dialed in, but it's only increased since we've started. But the biggest thing is just having consistent appointments. Like if Dorian's calendar can be completely booked for a month, like it's happening. I already kind of know that.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you guys know have you guys reverse engineered 100K a month into weekly and daily inputs and outputs? Like, as an example, for me, I know that if I wanted to, let's say, build a 500K a month company, I know the amount of leads I need every day. I know the amount of engaged leads I need every day. I know the amount of calls I need every day. I know the amount of pitches to be made every day. I know the amount of cash collected that needs to be collected every day. Have you guys done that exercise on 100K a month business in your niche or not yet?
I did it like last week actually, so it's funny you mentioned that. But I did it on a cost per basis instead of like, yeah.
So what is it going to cost you guys to get 100K a month? Because a lot of people, this is something I've always, and it's good that you did this exercise, because everybody says I want to make 100 grand a month. I'm like, yeah, but do you know what 100 grand a month costs?
Yeah. I think I think because we base it off a $300 cost per qualified call.
Okay.
Right. So that's what we based off. It's because that's like the highest we'll ever see is in that area. We know if we get below that, we're gonna go above the 100K goal, right?
Okay.
But
And
yeah,
what's your CAC? What's your cost of acquisition? Like, how many $300 calls do you need to get a client on
yeah, I
average?
think it's like 1,200. What is it?
The goal it's basically like 1,000 flat is what it is.
Okay.
But based on the
So-
metrics I pulled.
Okay, so essentially every 3 to 4 calls you guys close a client?
Yeah, yes. Yes, correct.
Okay. Cool. And how many clients do you guys need to sign a week to get?
Yeah, so we need like 10 closes a month.
Okay, cool. So that's around 2.5, 3 clients a week, right?
Yeah, and again and that's on new recurring.
New
Right.
clients, right? So
Yeah.
let's do 100K a month. Okay, so right now, if you guys want to get to 100K a month, you guys got to spend 2.5K a week on ads.
Correct.
If you guys are not spending 2.5K a week on ads, don't say that you want to make 100 grand a month.
Well, we
That's it.
scaled. Yeah. We scaled. So actually, since we started with you, I think we're at $30 a day or something.
Okay.
Since then, I think
How much?
we're at $30 a day when we first
When you
started.
started? Yeah. How
Yeah.
much are you guys spending now?
We're running at 100 a day.
Sick.
Yeah, yeah.
Love it.
So,
That will need to so the thing is that you guys gotta just say fuck it and just take the risk. Just experience 1 week at around like 200 a day. Well, even 200 a day is not 2.5K, right? So I think you guys are gonna need to eventually spend, because if you think about it, if you're at 100 a day, then you're also at, eventually you keep on spending the 200, 300 you need to spend in a day, but you just wait 3 days to spend it.
yeah.
So if you think about it, if you're going to spend the money, just spend it early, get the outcome sooner, and just optimize the funnel and just cash collect soon. Because the way that money works, once a business gets at super scale, you don't look at it anymore at a level of like, oh, are we doing outreach? Are we doing this? No, you look at it as, I spend money, but how fast do I get the money back? So if you guys are spending $100 a day slowly but surely, then it takes a lot of time before money comes back, because it also takes time for you guys to spend enough money to get the desired outcome. Now, of course, you guys can kind of like compensate with organic content.
One thing. So what makes it, again, it's like a roadblock for us. Every time we go to scale our ad account, I don't know what it is, our results just drop. Yeah, it's like we just shock the account and doesn't know what to do with the money, so it just blows it.
I know.
That's just something we gotta master.
Yeah, that's the issue we've been having when we try to scale something.
Is it why you guys were trying to get on a call with Rhonda?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah. We had again. We're going through the cycle of ads working for a week or two. We close a good amount of deals, and then all of a sudden they just turn off. It's like, how did that video work so well 2 weeks ago, and then all of a sudden now no one wants to click on it?
Yeah.
So that's our thing, is keeping something consistent.
I think you guys should. One thing that I've personally started doing, that I'm going to start doing this week, is I create new ads every day.
Yeah, we've been creating a lot more ads now. Definitely more than what we used to.
Love it. All right, guys. So get to 100K a month before December, and let's go to Cape Town.
Let's do it.
South Africa.
Yeah, we've moved the retreat. I needed to remove the retreat. Like, there's way too much work right now to be outside drinking tequila and enjoying the sunsets. But I think, we're in Canada, so just dip.
I want to get out of here. That's our plan, to get out of here as soon as possible.
So yeah, no, we're going to be organizing the retreat and a mastermind in South Africa. So towards last month of the year, stay longer for those who want to stay. It's pretty affordable. And I think
that's where our appointment setter's from.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, South Africa. Those guys are sick out there. I mean, just from what he's told us, it's like the different experience.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful place to be. Love it. All right, cool. So we'll have another chat in a few months at 100K a month, hopefully. Please,
yes,
you
sir.
guys gotta do it.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm not worried.
And then did you guys have any questions for me?
When you got to the point where, because if me and Doran are at the point where our team is very small, like I can count them on one hand. When you got to the point where you were signing so many people, where you needed to expand, you needed a big team. What did your day to day kind of look like while you were searching for someone, like rather it's an account manager or needing a like someone else on staff, VA, anything like that? Like what was your day what's your day to day even like mindset look like when that was rapidly happening and you had to do that quite fast?
I think you have to. I mean, I don't remember what my day to day was because back then it was just a weird, unleveraged business. It wasn't an ad agency. I had to manage people, VAs, audit, daily calls, and just make sure that they start outreach. But for me, I think the mindset is I realized that I could either keep managing the business, managing fulfillment, managing all that good stuff, and also still focus on getting us clients. But I realized that I had figured out a way to make so much, well, not so much money, but I had figured out a way to get people to give me money. So I realized that at the speed at which I was able to get money, I could actually hire someone to care more for client results than I could. So my mindset was like, client success is good, is valuable, but it's not worth my time as CEO of a company. CEO of a company is how can we build this to be the biggest? Because even a company that delivers 70% of the time, but is 100 times bigger than a company that delivers 100 of the times, but they only 100% of the time, but they only work with like 5 clients a month. The 70% client is delivering more value to society than the small little boutique agency doing bullshit work for only 5 humans. So for me, that's my mindset. It's let's go big. Eventually, product and results diminish, but once you hit a scale, you get to learn so much faster that the product now it kind of like inverts and you actually get better results for people than someone who's smaller and giving attention to everyone. So for you, what I would suggest for you guys is double down on finding someone, hire someone right away. If you guys can, like as an example, Damien, Dorian, you guys should be all locked in on acquisition.
Yeah.
That is the most valuable thing. No fulfillment is worth your time other than get feedback, make decisions, but let someone else go implement. As an example, appointment setting or dialing or building systems. That's the most you'll pay for a hire at that rate is like $5K a month, and that's like someone who's actually good, who has great experience. So anything below $5K a month, you guys should be finding and hiring and just go make money, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
because as an example, by the end of the year we're hitting 100K. We're gonna need to be a bigger team than what we are now,
sure.
right?
I mean, you're not even going to get to 100K a month if you don't have a team already, because the level at which you optimize acquisition at 100K a month means you're solely waking up and thinking, dreaming about dialing in your funnel, not how do we get. Now you can't have your mind focus on 5 different things. If you do, then you're 25% good at each thing.
Yeah, and I guess even to get your opinion to kind of continue on what you're saying there, our acquisition team, I mean, like besides the setter, closer, and like a potential like the media buyer we have doing our stuff. When I think of hiring more people for our team, I'm thinking more on the fulfillment side. I don't think we really like. I mean, I'd like to get your opinion on: are we missing a certain role for our acquisition side, or
I don't think so. But like, there is more work for sure to be done on the leads you guys have already paid for, right?
Yeah.
So like, if you guys are spending 100 a day for the last, I don't know, whatever months, then that means that you have probably over 1,000 leads in your CRM. So it's like, don't you guys think that there's probably more money to be made from 1,000 people than the next 10 leads you guys are going to get today, right? So it's like, it's not that you guys need to have more humans. It's just that you need more leveraged way to re-engage the list that you guys have already created and give them angles that resonate with them better and get them to buy. Like for me, one of the partners that I'm personally like on his campaign is like, we haven't run ads yet, but we've generated an extra like 60K, 70K in like 7-10 days. We didn't run any new ads, we didn't do nothing. It's just because everybody's just focused on getting new ads and new appointments. No, it's like, you've already built an email list and a user list in your CRM. Don't you think that these humans have problems? So for you guys, what I would suggest, and I'd also like for us to talk about it afterwards, is I'd love to see kind of like your CRM and what you guys are doing with that list. Because for me, I personally love re-engaging lists.
Yeah. We're actually starting to do that for our clients now, because our clients have like lists like 3,000, 4,000
Yeah,
it's-
that's where the money is.
Yeah.
So don't focus on just spending more money on ads all the time,
Yeah.
because that's also like it gets old, and you just end up spending way too much money on acquisition when you shouldn't be.
Yeah,
Okay.
makes sense.
All right, love it. All right, cool. So yeah, guys, thanks for jumping on, and on the month it is.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
We're gonna
There we
be
go.
there.
All right,
All right,
guys.
take
Take
it
care.
easy.
Have a beautiful day, guys. Bye bye.